Hello, everyone. It's quite a pleasure to host one of our distinguished professors in terms of the series, Africa, the Way Forward. Africa, the Way Forward. I'm Gloria Umegwali, and the distinguished speaker is Professor Osakue. Professor Osakue Omoera is a chair at the Department of Theatre and Media Arts, Ambrose Ali University, Nigeria. And I think he is also at another university. He received his PhD from the University of Ibadan, Nigeria. He's a world expert on mass media, theater, and communication studies. The professor pioneered scholarly inquiry into the Benin film segment of Nollywood studies and continues to probe the culture and practice of Nigerian cinema. He developed the active volcano paradigm for the study of English as a language of mass communication. I'm going to ask him to tell us more about that, by the way, somewhere along the line. The professor teaches and mentors undergraduate and postgraduate students in universities in Nigeria and abroad, and engages in community service and charity work in local communities. I have to stress that Professor Omoera is extensively published. You can just go to Google Scholar and you would see some of the works and some of the citations, etc. He's widely traveled and has served as a resource person to national and international organizations. For example, the National Film and Video Censors Board, the Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization, the National Broadcasting Commission, the European Union Technical Assistance to Nigeria's Evolving Security Challenges, and others. Please note that some of his works have been translated into languages such as Edo, and of course, other languages in Korean, Portuguese, Russian, and also Spanish. So there's no doubt about it. We have a very distinguished speaker here, and his topic is the way forward. Remember, the overarching theme is Africa, the way forward. And his presentation is the way forward in filmmaking and other arts in Nigeria. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof, for this opportunity. Good day, everyone. I want to speak to the issues of film in Nigeria and the way forward. Basically, we all know that the Nigerian film has come to revolutionize filmmaking in the global stage. The fact is that with the coming of Nollywood, there was a move from digital, from the cine culture to the digital cinema. Now, what do I mean by this? At the beginning of the explosion, the Nigerian film was sort of disparaged as of low art, low quality. but taking advantage of the available technologies, though were not produced by Nigerians or Africans, we were able to lead the way in global digital filmmaking. Today, the word cine filmmaking is outdated. What we now have is digital filmmaking. And as we speak, Nigeria is one of the leading producers of film in the world in terms of quantity and in terms of quality. A lot of people, if you look at the global space, let's take Netflix. You agree with me that a number of Nigerian films are there. Only recently, was it last year, Lionheart, yes, was disqualified from the Oscars based on what they considered language, but some of us do not even agree with that. The fact is that the Nigerian film has come into its own. But you know, like every other thing, there is always room for improvement. So today, I want to speak to the issues that could help, or that would help to improve the Nigerian film, benefit the Nigerian nation, and benefit everyone who is interested. First, I want to say that there is the need for us to begin to emphasize the making of films in indigenous languages in Nigeria and in Africa. What do I mean by this? If you don't talk about yourself, nobody will talk about you. That is a universal maxim. So, it is very important that stakeholders in the Nigerian film system to emphasize the use of our indigenous languages. This is not baseless. My PhD work at the University of Ibadan was on the Benin video film. The argument, the summary argument of it, which of course already published, I think part of it in the African Update, is on a concept we call homefrontism, taking resources from your environment, linguistic resources, artifacts, to package works for home consumption and external or diasporian consumption. Why do we need to do this? Let's take a look at the Chinese, the Koreans, the Indians. Agree that there are some levels of syncretic relationship with the West. But the fact remains that their language or their idioms, their local idioms, constitute the fulcrum of their films. So where do we begin? Where do we start? We should start from what we have. We can use the available technologies. For example, you have what they call the secure video on demand, like that Netflix, like the Iroko TV, and so many others around the world. At our local level here in Benin, where I have led for some years research into the Benin video culture, I have also decided, not just decided, I've also been part of the professional effort to raise the bar. There's now what we call the Igodo TV. I can provide the link later. The Igodo TV, it is basically a secure video on demand platform with the interest in indigenous language films. That is the point I'm trying to make. I joined forces with some other professionals like Pedi Okao, a leading producer in Nollywood, Pedro Agbonifo, a leading producer, and so many others. But the whole idea is that there should be a platform for indigenous language movies. Now, having said that, it is also very important that we now build capacities. How do we build capacities? The government and relevant agencies ought to be at the front. For example, if we take the Nigerian experience as the African example, we have what we call the National Film Corporation. It was set up sometime 1979. It has some agencies under it, like the National Film Institute. What was the overarching reason for setting it up? It was set up basically to provide support, infrastructural, human, and material to filmmakers in Nigeria. But if we take a diachronic look at the National Film Corporation or the National Film Institute from 1979 to 2000, we can say that it has not really achieved its aim. To even make matters worse, only just few days or weeks back, we are told that the federal government, through the Ministry of Information and Culture, is making plans to commercialize the activities of the National Film Corporation. And some of us, we begin to wonder what kind of policy somersault. The argument here is that a particular Oronsaye committee that was asked to look at the federal ministries suggested or recommended the commercialization. The question is that the mandate of the National Film Corporation? That brings me back to the object of my discussion, which is the way forward in Nigerian film. Now, the National Film Corporation is to provide support. How? Get experts, maybe from the academia, from the industry, what is commonly called the triple Ellis innovation paradigm, combining the academia, the industry, and the government agency. Get these people together. There are gigs, whether they are functioning very well or not, but as we speak, there are professional gigs in the art and business of filmmaking in Nigeria. Get them together and provide support. The previous government of President Ebele Jonathan attempted to do that with what they call the Nollywood Act, which they did through the instrumentality of the Bank of Industry. But, the problem with Nigeria is more of implementation. Halfway down the road, we were told that some persons couldn't access the fund. But as I said before, some persons did. I can give you a clear example. There's a film, an indigenous language film called Agbonaye by Pedi Okao. It got sponsored through the Nollywood Act, and it got screened around the world, at least in the US, California, and in Germany. Now, it means that it is possible, it is practicable, it only needs the enduring spirit of every entrepreneur or every business person. So we need to walk this through. That's just one example. But as it is right now, commercializing the National Film Corporation or the National Film Institute will be to what end? Would they not be producing films? What happens to the professionals out there that they are supposed to provide background support for. So that's one angle. Two, we've gone beyond the age of art for art's sake. I may build to say that. Film today is essentially business, and the stakeholders must see it as that. What do I mean by that? Now, there are chains of businesses in the act of filmmaking. For example, I think by the American standards, American Film Academy standards, you have about 253 crafts and professions within the matrix of filmmaking. If we are to use that as a measurement, it means that a number of persons can be trained within this matrix. For example, the script writer, or what they call the screenwriter, the director of photography, the boomer, the soundman. All sorts of crafts and businesses are within this matrix. If the National Film Corporation, all stakeholders, as I pointed out with the triple helix innovation model a while ago, I mean, I am from the academia now. I mean, with the Federal University of Tweke, there are people, they consult across the board, consult the industry, the government, relevant government agencies. We train these people, build the capacity, take advantage of our population. Prof, we are over 200 million people as I speak. That is a gold mine. I'm not even talking about the diasporian athletes or other people that may be interested in indigenous languages from Africa. So it means that if we pay attention, critical attention to this little idea, just building of capacity, we could as well do a whole lot of things. One, we provide job opportunities for a lot of our unemployable youths. Because the matter I wish to look at is that when we look at film as business, a lot is involved. It's not just that you are a filmmaker and that stuff, but we're also looking at the businessman. Yes, the Igbo businessman led the revolution with the living in bondage. I mean, I'm talking about the revolution in filmmaking. I'm not talking about the traditional cine film. Now, beyond that revolution, smart businessmen must bring a lot of things to the table. Take advantage of platforms like Netflix. Get remuneration. Try as much as possible to see how piracy cannot be wiped out, can be reduced, and people in the production chains will get their benefits. So these are some of the things I feel that we need to pay attention to while looking at the way forward in the Nigerian film.